Okay, so today you're going to be talking about bar graphs. So a couple things I do want to talk to you about before we start is some vocabulary. So our title is bar graphs. Okay, so a couple things when you're creating, because you will be creating bar graphs as well as analyzing them today. And so your title of your graph, so what's going to end up is they're going to give you probably some type of frequency table. Okay, we've talked about the frequency table. The nice thing is that you're going to have your title, blah, 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 blah. You're going to have your two columns. Okay, a title right here, and then your frequency. Your frequency, as you worked on the last couple days, is all about numbers. Okay, so let's say that this was about favorite sports. Okay, and your title is sports. And you have different titles of sports, and you have numbers. Okay. So what's going to happen is you're going to take this information, going to move it over here. So I just want to recap and show you what everything is. So your title for your x-axis would be your labels. This is going to be where you're going to have your words. So if it was, say, football, soccer, okay, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is going to be your labels. Here is going to be your output, which is your frequency. Okay. They're going to talk about numbers. They're going to talk about the word scale. That's what's huge, that the words that you're going to talk about today. And you're going to, when you're creating, is they're going to ask you what would be an appropriate scale, or what kind of scale would you be skip counting by, and things like that. Okay. So all scales are going to start with a 0, and this is your 0 line right here, just like before. Okay. This is your origin. The question is, the scale is how will you count or skip count on the y-axis to show or display all of your data. So if my data is as such, it's 4, 5, 6, and 14, and I only have a few lines, is it smart for me to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 when my data goes all up to 14? And the answer is no. So you could skip count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 if I had one more line. Okay, so again, it's all about, so let's say that it was 12. Okay, so let me back up. So my appropriate scale would be skip counting by 2. And so I would say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So when you're doing your scale or your output, you need to make sure it is able to, no matter how you skip count, you can skip count by 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 10s, 20. As long as you get all of your frequency information here, that's how you need to skip count. An inappropriate way or not correct way would be if I were to say skip count by 5, because it would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And all of 3 out of the 4 points would be just in this general vicinity. So you really need to make sure the appropriateness of your scale matches your frequency table. So again, the biggest thing I want you to do is you're going to have to make a title of your graph, which comes from here. You're copying literally from this. Your label, your words are going to be on your x-axis, which is your input. So if this was sports, it would have my different sports. Then your bar graph would be appropriate, matching my frequency. Whereas my frequency is my output, which would be right here. Okay? So that's the big thing. Scale is the big vocabulary word that you're going to be working on. So I kind of wanted to go over this to show you before we started on our workbook. All right, turn to page 558 in your workbook. It says you're going to use the tables, these two tables, for questions 1, 2, and 3. So questions 1, 2, and 3 says you, first of all, you've got 2 tables. You've got number of rainy days and number of sunny days. You've got your months and the number of days, your months and the number of days. So, the question number 1 says, a scale of 5 would be more appropriate for a bar graph of the data in the table title. So the question is, if I were to be skip counting and doing my 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, whatever it would be, which one? Is that going to use and be a better skip counting for number of rainy days or number of sunny days? And the answer is number of sunny days, because look at your data, number of sunny days. Your data is showing right here that everything is done by 5s. Not that saying that's not, you can't do it here, but sometimes it's just hard. If this were to be 5 and then 10, how are you really going to be able to, I mean, I guess 8 could be in the middle, but if you've got room, then use it. So therefore, a scale of 4 would be more appropriate for this bar graph, because these are all multiples of 4. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, so on and so forth. So you kind of want to go on multiples as well, and that's going to help you. Number of rainy days. Okay? So then it says make your bar graph to display. It doesn't matter if this one goes here or this one goes here. Okay? So this one's going to be your number. I'm just going to do it first. Number of rainy days. Okay? So then, again, we talked about this a while ago. My month is going to be down here. My input is going to be here. And then you're going to turn it. And then your numerical number, your output is going to be the number of days. Okay? So you've got your month and your number of days. So then you're going to have to put your labels. So then you would say April. Now sometimes if you want to do it to a slant, you can. April, May, June. So again, what do we say that our title would be for rainy days? My scale would be 4. So this means it's always going to be 0 because this is your origin. Okay? Your origin is always going to be where it starts, 0. So this is going to be 4, 8, 6, oh, sorry, be 12, 16, 20, 24. So April would be 20, so I would just mark up a bar. May, it's going to be 8. Just makes it so much nicer when you can go to a line instead of in between numbers. And then finally, June is going to be 4. Okay? Same thing over here. I'm going to take this information and move it over here. So obviously my title is going to be number of sunny days. Okay? My input is going to be my months. It's going to be my April, May, and June. Okay? And then it's going to be my number of days. Number of days. And we agreed that my scale would be skip counting by 5 in order to be able to do this. Again, this is my origin, so it's 0. My next one is going to be 5, 10, 15, and 20. If you notice, look how many more lines this one has than this one. Again, it's all based on how you're going to skip count. I couldn't have done 4, 8, 12, 16 on this because my data went up to 20. So that's why this one is a better, and that's why I'm able to get all of my information skip counting by 5. So April is going to be 5. May is going to be 10. And June is going to be 15. Okay, so again, quite simple, but we're putting more information that you've talked about or learned about before about creating your scale, making sure your input and your output and your title is on there. All right, let's look at 560. All right, so now we're going to start analyzing this. So you've talked about creating it, now we're going to analyze it. So Trevor collected the skateboards that were sold last month in a frequency table. Again, that's the word frequency table, and frequency is the number and it's how often something happened. So that means skateboards sold last month. So 8 skateboards of style A were sold. Style B, 10. Style C, 4. He will display the data in a bar graph. How many bars will the graph have? Well, how many bars did I have here? I had 3 based on my months. I had 3 based on my input. So therefore, how many inputs do I have here? I've got style A, style B, and style C. So therefore, I'm going to have 3 bars showing my information. Okay? So use the table to an incomplete graph for and the incomplete graph for 8 and 9. So you've got your frequency table right here. Okay? So you've got your color and your number. They've already filled this in, color and number, and your title has already been done for you. Okay? So then the question asks, suppose you are completing the bar graph. Which scale is best? So look, our maximum number is 10. So could I skip back count by 1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Would that be able to get in my information? And the answer is no. If I skip counted by 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That works so far. 12. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. That's going to be way too much because my largest is 10. So if I were to have 12, that means everything has to go in this area. And that's not what I want to do. Okay, I want to be able to make it nice, clean, and displayed. 10, same thing. 10, 20, 30. Again, if it was 10, which is great, it still fits it, but I still have 2 other data points. So that's why this particular one would be better for 2. Okay? So this question is right here. So Brandy graphed the data correctly. Which statement about the graph is true? So I'm going to go ahead and just say red, black, and blue, simply because I want to be able to understand. So this would be 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Red is 5, so that's in between 4 and 6. Black is 10, and blue is 7. So the bar for black, is it twice as tall as the bar for blue? No, because this is 10 and 7. That's 7 is not, this is not twice as this. The bar for black is twice as tall as the bar for red. Red is 5. Is this twice as big as this? Yes. The bar for blue is taller, is the tallest bar? No. The bar for blue is the shortest bar? No. So your answer is B. Again, not really anything new, just slowing down and really analyzing it. Marcy is making a bar graph of the data on the frequency table. Which scale should she use? So again, we don't know how many lines we have like up here, but let's just look. We don't even start our information until 15. So if you were to have a graph, and this would be 0, and you were to start a skip count by 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 15 would be way up here. So you know 1 is not a great option. 2 is not a great option because, number 1, these are really multiples of 5. Okay? Same thing here. It would still be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 up here. So the question is, what would be easier? What would be easier to be skip counting by? Is the question going to be 25 or is the question going to be 5? Well, again, if my first line is 25, my next line is 50. Well, all of my data fits below 50, so I would only have 2 lines, and that just doesn't make sense. So your better option is going to be 5. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and look at number 1 and 2 and 3. And this is exactly what we did a while ago. I want you to be able to take this race as 1, transfer it, number of points scored, transfer it. Answer questions 1 and 2. I want you to press pause. And I want you to be able to do this very quickly. It shouldn't take you a tremendous amount, but I still want you to get in the practice of transferring your titles, because all of your titles are incomplete, as well as your input and output. So go ahead and do that. Press pause, and then we'll go over it. Okay. Number 1, a scale of 10 would be most appropriate for the points scored. Look, why? Because it's 0 and 5. And especially when your data points just start at 20, it's better for you to do that. Okay, especially when I've gone down and done this right here. 2 is a better one here because all of my data is below 8. So you don't really need to make a graph, a bar graph that starts at and has everything down in the first 2 lines. So again, I've just transferred. Again, your x-axis is going to be your teams. Your y-axis is here is going to be number of races based on my title. Number of points also based on my title. Okay, my x-axis also has my ABC and ABC. Those are my titles for my input. And because I decided that these are the best scales, I went ahead and added 0 here. It's not going to hurt you. I think it's probably better to remind you that this does not start at 2. This starts at 0. 2, 4, 6, 8, and again, drawing those. Okay? So let's look right here. It says a pastry chef surveyed her customers to find out which type of berry is their favorite. The results of the survey are shown in the table in the bar graph. Use the table in the bar graph for 4 and 5. What scale was used? What do we skip count? We skip count. We could say multiples of 4, which means 4, 8, 12. All of those multiplied by once, twice, 3, 4, 5. Which berry got the most votes? And there's 2 question marks, so there's 2 questions. And that is going to be raspberry. Sorry. Which data display did you use to find the answer? I'm going to look for the tallest bar. That to me is a little bit harder. I'm just going to look for the tallest bar. Bar graph. It asked me to explain. I looked at tallest bar. Because when you're comparing, that's just the easiest one to do. This is just the easiest one to do because it is a bar. It's just easy. Let's flip it over the back. Let's do number 6 together. Leon makes a bar graph to show the favorite cheeses and the data and the frequency table. How many bars will the graph have? So how many bars? It's based on your x-axis. So I'm going to have a bar for cheddar, a bar for Monterey Jack, a bar for mozzarella, and a bar for Swiss. And so therefore that's 4 bars. Felicia makes a bar graph with her favorite citrus fruit in this frequency table. Where will the bar for tangerine end? So where would it end? It's going to end where it says 18. So you're going to use this for 8, 9, and 10. Which scale is the best for completing this graph? Well, we're looking right here. Our answers are here. We have just a few. So if I did 1, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I haven't even started entering my data here. 4, are these multiples of 4? That's why I would say no. 2, again, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Hasn't even gotten there. Okay? So again, the best one is you're going to look at is for 5. The number of books in the bookstore donated to the library is 1/4 the amount of total books sold. How many books are donated to the library? Okay? So the number of books the bookstore donates to the library is 1/4 sold. The total number of books sold. So I'm going to add them together for the total books. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 115. Okay. So 115. So it's 1/4. Okay. The total number of books the bookstore donates to the library is 1/4 this. So, therefore, how many books So 35. So, oh, I'd messed it up. That's why I'm like, that doesn't look right. Pardon me. 35, 60, 25. So that's 412. Sorry. So it's 1/4 of 120, which we know that's the same thing as multiply. So it's 1/4 of 120. So it's 120 divided by 4. $30. Oh, geez, so sorry. So again, 1/4 the 1/4 of the total number. This is my total number. If the data are graphed correctly, which statement is true? The bar for the new books is the shortest. Is that true? Nope, because that's the shortest. The bar for the e-books is taller than the bar for the new books. Nope. The bar for the used books is twice as tall for the new books. Is this twice as tall as this? No. 35 times 2 is 70. That would not work. The bar for the used books is more than twice as tall for the e-books. So twice this times 2 would be 50. Is this more than 50? Yes, it is. All right, so now I want you to turn to page 566. Turn to page 566. Okay, let's go 566. Question number 7. The teachers at Marty's school are in pasta cooking contest. The bar graph shows the amount of sauce they used in their recipes. What's the difference between the greatest and the least amount of sauce? The greatest is going to be Anna, which is what number is in between 6 and 8? That's 7. Earl, what's in between 0 and 2? And that's 1. 6 cups. Pretty straightforward. Okay, number 8. Who could fill more than 1 quart container with their sauce? Hint, 1 quart is 4 cups. So you're looking for something that has, you're wanting more than a quart, so you're wanting essentially more than how many cups? More than 4 cups. That's exactly 4 cups. Nope, nope. Anna is the only person that's going to have anything that's able to fill 1 quart container. How much sauce do all of the teachers use in their recipe? Simply, I would do what? How much cups? So here's 4, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Plus 1 is 13. Plus 3 is, plus, I think I added that wrong. Let's try that again. Oh, geez, so sorry. If you're watching this, I want you to put your hands up in the air and stretch really quietly. This is going to be a little indicator that I know that you're watching me right now and watching this video. So if you can hear me, I want you to, watching this part, just put your hands up, stretch like you're stretching, but you got to make sure you're quiet so you don't bring attention to yourself. And I know what you're doing, and I'll make eye contact with you and give you a thumbs up. All right, so let's try this again. So this is 4 plus 7 plus 1 plus 3. 7 and 3 is 10. That is 15. Okay. Number 10, last one. So the bar graph shows the number of animals on a farm. The animals eat hay every day. Each horse eats 15 pounds. So this is the animal. This is the number of animal. So each horse, how many horses are there? There's 12. Each horse, so there's 12 horses, eat 15 pounds. Each cow, how many cows are there? 15. So 15 cows eat 30 pounds. And each pig, how many pigs? 6. Each pig eat 1 pound. How much hay do they have? Do all the farm animals eat in one day? So if 12 horses eat 15 pounds, what would I do? I would multiply 12 times 15. $15 cows and 30. I'm just going to do times 3 because I can add my 0 at the end. Okay. And 6 pigs eat 1 pound each. So that's just simply 6. So there's my 6 pounds for my pigs. 6, 13, and 6. 636 pounds. Okay? So again, nothing new, nothing different. Okay? So on your looking at your 15.4, again, going through these, make sure your question and make sure you're reading it correctly. Tyler says 5th graders have twice as many. Okay, pay attention. What if 27 more 3rd graders arrive after lunch? So 27 more 3rd graders. Pay attention. And this is on Saturday, because this question may be something about Friday. On the back. Okay. Pull this up a little bit. On the back, pay attention what this is saying. Each person is working, so you're looking at your X and your Y axis. This is your worker. This is the amount of hours. Okay, they're going to have you do some kind of conversion right here. Pay attention what it's asking you. When you're done, to turn it into the table on the file folder and go on to your next activity.